Hey guys, welcome back to Homestead Prepping and Survival. Today I want to ask you a couple questions and see if we can help you on your weaker areas. And doggone brass won't stand up. So that is my question. For you preppers that are out there, homesteaders, survivalists, all of that, if you consider yourself a prepper in any way, form, or fashion, what is your biggest weakness? So be honest with yourself, because no one else knows exactly where you are in any one category. So if you're not honest with yourself, then you're setting yourself up to fail. So, I made a couple of notes this time just because I was trying to get my brain completely wrapped in this conversation. But, first thing I wrote down was your health. So, are you physically fit to where you can do what's necessary after crap was to hit the fan? Let's just assume crap's hit the fan. You've got to raise livestock, hunt, fish, get your water from wherever your location is. You've got to grow food and preserve food and all of that. Can you do it? And don't tell me, oh yeah, I know how to grow a garden. Okay, have you done that? Have you actually planted a garden and said, these items grow well for me and these items don't? What do I need to do? Or as some other channels I've watched, have your soil sampled and tested to where you know what type of additives you need to put into your garden soil so that you can grow better crops and get a better yield. I don't know about you, but the worst thing in the world to me would be to spend hours and hours every day and every week working on a garden, trying to raise enough food to feed my family and my group, only to get a 50% yield of what it could have been if I had tested that soil and made sure that the soil is well balanced so that the crop has a better chance and produces better. So the question was your health. So are you able to do that? I mean, if you don't have these modern tractors, have computers in them just like cars do. If you don't have a modern tractor to get out there and plow that garden and till it and all of that, what are you going to do? How are you going to be able to plant a garden big enough to do that? So my next question would be power. Do you have a second and third resource for power on the essentials? I'm not saying you got to have a light on in every room of the house. I'm not saying you've got to have the power running 24/7, 7 days a week. You can actually get by with a lot less power consumption than that. You're not going to be sitting in the house all day and running the air conditioner all day long, because you're going to have to be out doing things to take care of your family. So do you have power covered? And I've seen so many of these other channels out there that have these little solar power banks where you can charge them by plugging them in the wall or hook a solar panel to them, and produces X number of watts so you can run your refrigerator or your radio or lights or charge your cell phone. Well, that's all fine and dandy if you're talking about a short-term power outage. But what if we're talking about 6 months or a year or 10 years? Because if EMP is ever deployed against this country on a national scale, we're looking at years, not 1 or 2, years before they can get the entire country power grid back up. We may not even live. The people that are watching this video now and your immediate family may not even live before things get back to the state they are now, if they ever get back to there. So what is your backup power plan? We all would love to have power. Okay, and I don't want to hear, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to fuss, But I don't want to hear this crap. I'm going to bug out to the woods and survive in the woods. I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of people out there that teach wilderness survival and all of that. And these guys, if they're honest with you, will tell you 30 days in to a complete wilderness survival, get all your own food, These guys lose 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds in a month or two because you just expend so much energy to get the food that you need to survive. After the first couple of weeks, you're not out there plowing a field. You're just eating enough to survive. So what's your power plan? What's your food plan? Y'all have seen my videos. I've got food stored. And I'm 100% honest with you guys. I need to get out there and go through my storage and get it organized and get it cleaned up to where it needs to be. And I've got more food stored than anybody I've ever met. So I've also got seed stored so I can resupply myself and my family and my group. Do you? Have you planted that garden? Do you know that these things will grow well for you so that you can get enough for your effort to feed your group? So then the next thing I put on there was water. Remember the rules of 3. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and the shelter part is 3 hours in extreme temps. So you can only go 3 days without water. And after the first day, you get headaches, you get weak, you do not have the 100% mental capacity or physical ability to do what you can do if you were hydrated. So the end of the second day, you're starting to deteriorate pretty doggone rapidly. So what is your water supply plan? You've got to have clean, potable, which is drinkable or consumable water. And, you know, life straws are great for the short term. They're only rated to filter about 1,000 gallons of water. Now, that sounds like a lot of water, but not if you had to go 6 months, a year, or 2. You've got to have another way to get clean water. That's why I like the mini Sawyer water filter, just for the simple fact that you can wash it out with some of the fresh water you have and continue to reuse it up to 100,000 gallons. Costs a few dollars more, but it's so much more useful long term. But, you know, there's a lot of Berkeley water filters out there are great. They do a fantastic job, that kind of stuff. You can get into really high dollar stuff. I'm not a high dollar person. I'm a practical person. I want something for as little as I can pay for it that's going to get the job done and get the job done right. Okay? I don't care about driving a Cadillac. I like my old truck. I bought it that way. I put a lot of money into it to make it a good, dependable truck. So, I'm not trying to be fancy. I'm trying to be real with myself and with you guys. So, you've got to have a resupply plan of water, period. All right, and then what about defense and offense? You know, if you think you're just going to sweet talk the gangs that are going to be roaming the roads and doing all that stuff and share your resources with them so they won't hurt you or kill you or hurt your family and friends, you know, you're not being real with yourself. It happens today. What do you think is going to happen when law and order breaks down? So, where are you on defense? I am nowhere near where I want to be. I've told y'all before. I'm probably in that 17,000 round count as far as ammunition. So, that ain't a drop in the bucket to what would be needed for years. And if I don't have enough supplies to make more, like here, then this is not going to do me any good. And to be honest, the way prices of everything are going up, and especially reloading supplies, being able to find everything you need, it's almost like looking for that needle in a haystack. You know, I can find small rifle primers and large rifle primers. I've got plenty of them. But small pistol primers, those things are like unicorns in southwest Georgia. There ain't none around here. And when I do see them online somewhere, or someone says they saw them online, they're double or triple the price what they were. Excuse me. So, where are you on your defense and your offense? Because you're going to need offense if you are going to have a defense. Period. All right. What about the size of your group? Have you ever thought about what size group do you have, and what would be the minimum size you would need in order to be able to survive? So, if you really put enough thought into it, the larger your group, the more mouths there is to feed. But like the old people used to say, many hands make light work. So having a larger group also provides you with the labor to produce more product, food, water, hunting, fishing, all of that stuff. So, you know, I've tried to talk about this a little bit in other videos, but what about defense? In my location, I really need 3 people on guard or on security duty at all times. And that's not including the ones that are like, hey, something's happening, 40 people suit up and get ready to battle if that's what's necessary. But you need 3 people, or at least my location. Some would need 4. Some would need more than that. But if you got 3 people and they're each doing 8-hour shifts, that's 9 people per day. And you're not going to burn through that 9 people 7 days a week, week after week after week, because you're going to burn them out. They're going to get sloppy. You're going to have mistakes made. So you need those 9 per day to be relieved by another 9. So if you do 4-day shifts, 8 hours a day, and then 3-day shifts, 8 hours a day, that's 18 people just to give people a break. Because remember, your clothes are still going to need washing. Your kids are still going to need school, teaching, and studying. Your house is still going, or wherever you're staying, is still going to need upkeep. You're going to need time to work in that garden and to take care of those animals and to hunt and to fish and in some cases scavenge. So what size is your group? What would be the minimum amount you think you could get by with long term? And what would be a comfortable number for you? For me, I think 30 to 40 people is a comfortable number for me. My group is much larger than that, but you don't turn down people that are of like mind that really want to be part of it and all of that. You just don't. The better your group, the larger your group, the better your chances of people surviving. Our own government did a study saying that if an EMP was to hit national-wise and knock out the entire national grid, 90% of the people that live in the United States right now would not survive the first 24 months. So 80% would die the first 12 months, and then another 10% would die the second 12 months. A lot of that from malnourishment and illnesses and things like that. So if you think along those lines, 9 out of every 10 people aren't going to be here in 2 years if it happened tonight. So what size do you need that group to be? Think about that. You need to be recruiting like-minded people that you can trust. And the only way you can determine that is to build your group now and learn and get to know the people in your group, because you're not going to be kin to all of them. All right, and then what about your bug out location? So I know I'm at 14 minutes on my timer there, but bug out location is very important. Those of you that live in heavily populated areas, in town, in cities, in urban areas, those are the first places where it's going to get really bad. The gangs are going to get bad just because that's where the majority of people are. Where is your bug out location? Have you built a partnership or a relationship with someone to where you have a bug out location for you and your family or your group or whatever? If you have not done that, then everything else doesn't matter. If you don't have enough water to take care of your group, your family, your needs, then food's not going to matter. If people are thirsting to death, it doesn't matter if there's not food next month. They're not going to survive till then. So if your defense and the offense isn't where it needs to be, someone can take all of your preps and things from you. Not saying it wouldn't happen anyway, but the whole point of prepping is to increase your odds. So keep increasing your odds until, honestly, until you don't need to anymore. And I'm not saying because you reached your goal. I'm saying because crap's already hit the fan and your system works. My system, the way I've got it set up, me and my group, my family, my close friends, I know we have a good system. I've got people in my group whose job in the military used to be strategizing security for military bases and stuff like that. And I've got more than just that one that if he's watching the video, he'll know what I'm talking about. Got more than that. But the point is, I got input from a lot of different people that were much smarter than me so that I could build the group that I need. Have you done that? Because if you're doing all this prepping and you got enough food stored to last you and 30 people for 10 years, you got water taken care of, all of you are healthy, you got your medications needed stored. If you don't have a good defense, guess what you did? You prepped for somebody else. I'm not prepping for other people. I'm prepping for my group, my family, my kids, my grandkids, and my close-knit people that are in my group. So I wanted to run that out there. It's been a couple of crazy weeks as far as busy and me being able to do stuff. I'm actually working on my health. There's certain things I can't change, but there are things that I can change. So my daughter has been on me about, one of my daughters has been on me about walking and getting more exercise as far as getting that endurance up. So we've been walking the property for a certain amount of time every day. And, I've been walking more than she has, but, she doesn't need it as bad as I do. So I'm trying to push myself to get better. Are you doing that? Don't sit back and say, okay, I'm not going to call your name, but I got a friend that had a leg amputated. Really good guy, awesome fella. He's a little older than I am. I don't expect him to get on a treadmill and run. But there's things he can do that are going to increase his odds. And I believe he's doing that. From me talking with him and all, he's doing that. What are you doing? Don't use your weakness as a crutch not to prep. Use that weakness to motivate you to say, I've got to improve this area. If I don't have but, 20 gallons of water stored, and right now water is basically free, you can save containers, wash them, sterilize them, and put water in it now for nothing. You're already buying the milk. You're already buying the orange juice, and in my case, cranberry juice. You're already buying this stuff. You can clean them containers, sterilize them really well, store water in them. It's not going to cost you a dime. You're not going to notice a big difference in your water bill if you're on city water, which, sorry, you got more problems if you're on city water than you do on county, but either way, you're not going to notice that stuff. But you've really got to put forth the effort. Don't use your weakness as a crutch or a reason not to prep. That weakness needs to be the reason you do prep and why you go that extra mile and why you put in the extra effort when no one else will. A friend of mine told me the other day, well, I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to cause hard feelings, and him and I are like brothers. I was going to say something that me and him was talking about, but you know what? Don't beg people to prep. If they take it seriously, they will get off their butt and they will prep. And if you've got to beg them to prep, you're going to have to beg them to help when crap hits the fan. You don't need them. You don't need them. Cut ties with them. You know, you can't. I was telling my granddaughter today on the way home, because I pick her up in school some, and I was telling her on the way home, there's a little girl in her class that she says is a butthole, is mean to her, and she's not her friend. I said, well, baby, she don't need to be your friend. You don't need to be her friend. You're not put here to be friends with everybody. Cherish the ones you are with and let the rest go. I used to have a saying, you know, most of you know I retired from the grocery business. And I used to have a saying I'd tell my employees all the time, and this may surprise some of you, but it's the fact. I smiled at all my customers, all of them. Some when they come, hey. Some when they go, thank God. Okay? Smile at everybody. But have a plan to kick butt when necessary. And that includes your own. If you're using your weakness as an excuse, kick your own butt. Get up and do something. Guys, don't forget the most important thing anyone will ever tell you. Jesus Christ loves you. And so do I. Y'all be safe.